Croeso pawb. Hello there. Welcome to the Play for the Dragon podcast. Wales, music, sport. Not always in that order either, because I keep getting that wrong at the start. That's silly. We'll try not to spend too long bitching about referee decisions today. We'll talk a bit about Wales, Italy, of course, 1-0, but we got through to the round of 16, didn't we? You know, that's good. Denmark in the next round on Saturday. We'll do a little preview on that. And unfortunately, this week as well, we've had a few losses in the Welsh language music scene. David R. Edwards passed away a couple of days ago, the frontman songwriter from Datblygu. So we'll have a little chat about that. And Sam, who was the other person that you said it happened a couple of hours ago before we started recording?
Glyn from Amsterdam, another great band from Aberteifi, Cardigan in Ceredigion. I think it's in Ceredigion, Aberteifi. Another really important musician in the Welsh language music scene. So 2 in 2 days. It's been horrible, isn't it?
It's awful. It's Lewis, you attributed it to the Aaron Ramsey curse, didn't you?
Yes.
Aaron Ramsey.
It was when he was playing for Arsenal years ago. I remember that.
It's still
this is the thing. Yeah.
He scores a goal, and then a few days later, someone sadly passes away.
Well, we haven't been following this Aaron Ramsey curse with him being in Italy. We need to backtrack and see if it's coincided with anything else important. The world has been sleeping soundly. Aaron Ramsey on the bench, no one dying.
Back up for Wales. There we go.
So whoever's not editing the podcast later, so you two just go back through Google and cross-reference all the dates of the goals if you so can. We'll work that into the next episode somehow. But I seem to remember, I think it was that Wildy scored in the Champions League against Galatasaray. That it was either Gaddafi or Bin Laden. It coincided a day before or after one of their deaths. So score a Wildy, bad person dies. Maybe, I don't know.
What a Wildy!
Because that was one of the goals of one of the best goals I've ever seen live on TV. I have to say.
Live on TV.
Live on TV. So that's a problem following a shit London team. You never really get to go down when you live in Real. You two don't know that, do you? Special shout out to one of my least favourite publications on these shows, actually, The Guardian. Quite a lot of newspapers come quite low on my list of publications, to be honest, but they took a break from calling MMA fans wife beaters and, things like that to join TalkSport and slagging off Welsh players not being born in Wales. I can't remember the term they used. Was I had a look at the article before we came on, but I can't remember the headline. But anyway, that was
it said like how Wales integrated non-Welsh players or something ridiculous.
That was it, integrated non-Welsh. I mean, Adam Davis was born in Germany apparently, but with a name like that,
who cares, man?
Who cares anyway? Like
Welsh is not a race. It's not. You're not born or anything Welsh. It's just a place. At the end of the day, I think culture and everything like that. But it's you're not. You can, if you want to be Welsh, you're Welsh, as far as I'm concerned. It's not like you're born like black or white or anything like this. It's completely different. It's a negotiation. It's identity, isn't it? It's nothing inherent or biological. So the Guardian can just do one. And at the end of the day, as well, you got to remember. I saw this on Twitter the other day. Kiefer Moore is still the only English-born person to score in the Euros. So considering that, the only person that scored for England was born in bloody Jamaica, I think they should, keep their traps closed before they let this drivel reach pen and paper, innit? Ridiculous.
I'm glad you made that point about Raheem Sterling because it saved me making it. So thank you. Their beloved England, their only player that's got 2 goals from the Caribbean. So. Not that matters anyway. He's raised his whole life in London, isn't he? So yeah, good for him scoring for England. He's had a lot of stick this season. He might not have played as well as he'd like to for City, but pulling England out holes when he needs to.
You don't get any articles on Nation.Cymru or Daily Post or The National or anything saying, how England managed to integrate their Caribbean's hero or anything. What a load of rubbish.
No, the English media seems to do that themselves. Enough about the 4 Lions. I don't know how many, but they'll all be coming home on a plane soon anyway. Oh no, they're at Wembley, so they can probably just get the bus, save a bit of money. Should we talk a bit about the Italy game?
Aye. What do you think, Lewis?
Here you go.
Lewis. You've been quiet.
I've been quiet. I was letting you two have your little.
I don't trust you when you go quiet, fella.
Because I'm thinking.
Writing notes.
No. I'll be honest. I think we weren't too bad. We went down to 10 men. Don't ask me on the timing, but we went down to 10 men.
50 odd minutes, wasn't it? I think 50 odd.
Yeah, 50 minutes
in the second half.
I didn't want to say it in case I got it wrong. And, you know, the quizmaster, Sam, corrected me. Stupid. But yeah, I thought we looked okay. Italy have got their class. We discussed this last week, didn't we? We knew they were stronger, near enough all over the place, especially the midfield. Yeah, they controlled it. They were in control of the game throughout the duration, in my opinion. But when we had 11, I always thought we still had a chance.
Yeah.
Did worry a little bit when we went down to 10, because obviously it seemed like Italy being on that form they have been, I thought this was going to be 2, 3, 4.
It goes to show that France game wasn't a waste of time after all.
Yeah.
Good match practice.
But in my honest opinion, I thought we defended well. We only had a few. We did have a chance. Bale at the end, probably in my
should have scored, man.
Should have done better. He's gone for it first time, and he's probably looked at it and just gone, "I can get that," and hasn't. Maybe he's just thought, if I control it, I've not got enough time. There's little things to play what he did, but
he couldn't get his body over it, could he?
He went for the volley and he sadly missed. But overall, I think it was quite a good performance. We did change the shape, which I thought was interesting. So we did a different formation, didn't we? We went with 3-5 at the back.
Yeah.
Compared to the last 2 games, which have been 4. So big change for us to get used to there in terms of how we play. But if that's our plan B, then that's not a bad plan B to add defensively.
It's nice to have a plan B. It's, you know, how many times can we say Wales have had a plan B?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, look at when we had Coleman. It was 5 at the back. That's what everyone knew. What was it? Later on, it came 4. But that was very near Chris Coleman's ending, wasn't it? But yeah, in terms of the whole Italy performance, I thought we did quite well. Sadly, we lost, but I thought we put in a performance. The guys put in a great effort, and Switzerland, I think we need a whole little mini topic on them because they made that game nervy.
God, yeah, man. And the goals were beautiful.
They were making me a bit nervous. That game did get me a bit nervous, but yeah, overall, I was quite happy.
Me too. I would say exactly the same, to be honest. I think defensively, we've got to be probably one of the strongest defenses in the Euros this year. It's ridiculous with Joe Rodon is looking like a Rolls Royce of a defender these days. We still yet to concede an open play, you know, and that's the biggest disappointment for me over losing against Italy, which is obviously a disappointment. It's the way we conceded from set piece again, you know. So that's 2 goals we've conceded, 2 set pieces. So it's obvious where our weakness is, and it'll be really easy to get at us in that sense. And yeah, so that's the biggest disappointment. But I thought defensively outstanding. But of course, it was always going to be, you know, a bit of a limp attacking effort from Wales. It was always going to be about the defence, about keeping sturdy, about keeping any deficit that there might be to a minimum. And for that, you know, playing not playing Kiefer Moore, obviously, to save him for him getting another yellow and everything else. But yeah, I thought overall I was quite happy. I predicted 3-1, didn't I? So 1-0 is basically winning, you know, compared to that.
Can we just mention I was the closest?
You were the closest.
Ali was as well.
Martin said 2-1, no?
1-1.
I said 2-1, so I predicted a 1 goal. Right? I got 1 goal deficit, but you said 1-1, Lewis. I did look up I looked up. I saw a little stat. There's been 9 competitive games between Wales and Italy, 10 now, and there's been no draws in those 9 or 10 games. So you should check your betting lines, mate. Naughty.
It was great, man. At the end of the day, it looked, you know, for somebody who doesn't follow Wales watching it, they'll say, "Oh, Italy just dominated us," and you know, it was Italy's second team, this and that, whatever. But it's just not that, you know. And people like you know, all the TalkSport soldiers and Chris Sutton and all these lot who will say that, oh, Wales, you know, they got absolutely pinned back, they got dominated. Well, we didn't have Ben Davies, who is probably our most experienced starting defender. Yes. We didn't have, he is. Well, we had Chris Gunter as well. He's not a starter, I suppose. But we didn't have Kiefer Moore as well, you know. So we had, you know, big players missing, really. as well as this. So to lose 1-0 against what is actually, probably, a second team for us at this point now. In our plan B also, it is outstanding. I think the one thing that we can all agree on, though, having seen 2 games now with 5 at the back and Ramsey in the false nine system, is that Rambo, we lose all of Rambo's flair while he's in the false nine role. Yeah. He disappears. He sort of he can't get stuck in the way we like him to. He's too easily picked up on these little nice half runs that he likes to try and pull off. So I think going forward, I hope that we don't see Ramsey in that false nine role again. I'd much prefer to see a Harry Wilson or a David Brooks in that role. I think that he could definitely do it better. And no, I don't want to say better, but he could do it and free up Ramsey in other ways. I'd like to see Ramsey getting deeper, because I don't know about you guys as well, but I've been so impressed with Ramsey's defensive work in this tournament.
Here's a question for you. Sorry, do you think with that number 9 role, do you think that's because Ramsey's hiding, maybe because he's not that deep away, he's going to fetch the ball, or we're not feeding the ball to Ramsey for him to show what he can do in a more advanced position?
Ramsey's a big game player, so I'd never say he was hiding. But I do agree. I think, there's definitely a problem with distribution. I think we must be so used to having someone who's basically 7 foot at the top that it must be really difficult, like losing a foot and a half or whatever. But I don't know. It's an interesting one, Ramsey. It's only the second time we've seen it, really, with him playing in that 9 role. But both times he has been completely anonymous. And every time that he's been notable, it's been from him getting back and doing, slogging it out in the back and doing the dirty work. So I would love to see him in. I believe in this in a 5 at the back system. We've done it before, and it's been great for us. It's had great results. But I think, you've got Harry Wilson sitting on the bench, having scored that goal against Belgium. Also on top of that, it's a free kick, a dead ball specialist from corners included. When we've got people like Bale in the box and Chris Gunter after that header that nearly went in. Yeah. Imagine if Chris Gunter had scored that.
It was set to happen nearly, wasn't it? I was, with them starting, I was thinking about putting a cheeky bet on Gunter to score and like Wales to draw or something, but
that would have been his first goal.
Save money for it. That's what I was thinking as well. First goal in the tournament, sort of written for him. I agree with what you said about Wilson though in the false 9 role. The only thing I'd maybe be a bit unsure about starting Harry Wilson in like a sort of bigger game further into the tournament. I think was it Bournemouth who was at? I think I saw a lot of when he was on loan last time before Cardiff. Saw a lot of Bournemouth fans saying he'd go missing for quite a big proportion of the game. Like, he is a very good technical player, like you said, from dead balls as well. He can score from outside the box. He's sort of quick, good passing, good finishing.
That's the thing, isn't it, though?
I'll be honest.
Playing in a system like that, you need a false 9 who's going to press for 70 or 90 minutes. You don't want someone who's going to sort of be sat back for 30 minutes or so, not be looking for anything. Or I'm not saying he's a player who doesn't put effort in or anything. I don't think you can really fault anyone in our squads when they put the red jersey on. But
sorry, can I cut you off before you say anything? Sorry. I actually think I remember Bournemouth were in the Premier League, weren't they? Because they had clubs.
He was at Derby, then Bournemouth, now Cardiff.
But yeah, I think I understand what Bournemouth fans were saying about him. Is that he did have a little bit of a run where he was scoring and it was looking like brilliant. But yeah, at some points in games, he does go missing. Whether that's just because he's not getting fed the ball or he's in the wrong positions, I'm not too sure. But yeah, I can remember watching a few games where he just wouldn't touch the ball for ages. Then he would get the ball, potentially do something special, or it would be the complete opposite.
But at the same time, Lewis, in that season at Bournemouth, he was the person with the most goals from outside the box in the Premier League.
Yeah. But how many free kicks?
No, well, I don't know. But he's a big moment player. He can produce moments of real quality. And, obviously from this tournament, having only scored 3 goals, I'm not saying that's not a lot, but, he's another option. It's another string to our bow, isn't it? Having shots from outside the box. It's something we could, especially in our counter-attacking in the counter-attacking way that we've been playing recently, and as well with 5 at the back. If you can take a shot, I don't know, 10 seconds early before the defense get the chance to set, it could do wonders, you know.
Can you afford to carry a player like that in tournament football though, when there's so much at stake? Do you guys think? We've got Bale and Ramsey already in the side that can produce moments like that. Bale's shown us countless times before Ramsey in this tournament against Turkey. Especially when you're playing 5 at the back, you're going to be quite restricted going forwards. You think we probably play maybe the 3 up top, so it'd be James, Bale, and then Wilson sort of in at the 9.
Who do you take out?
Probably Morel, and then you drop Ramsey into the midfield.
Yeah.
Potentially, but Morel's a good sort of disciplined, staying in shape, whereas Wilson likes to go a bit more forward, and if we go with him, we offer more space in midfield.
Sure. I would say that Morel, I think, unfortunately got a bit outclassed, and I think that's why he was hooked in the Italy game. I think he didn't have a poor game, but it's the first time for me that we've seen Morel looking like he's not of the same quality as the rest of the lads, maybe. The first time, I can't sing his praises enough. I've been a massive supporter of Joe Morel. I was out of the 3 of us, I was the only one to put him in my starting 11 against what do you call it, Switzerland. So, but I thought in Italy,
against Switzerland.
Yeah, I put him in my starting 11 against Switzerland.
Oh, I took him out. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you see. So no one can
read
say
the Instagram post, do you? Oh, you don't have it, do you?
I don't.
But I mean,
oh well. Yeah, I missed off. I think I remember saying I'll take him out.
I back Morel to come back strong against Denmark. I think he'll start.
Because I remember that why now, because I thought we were going to attack, and I thought he would be the one to get pulled.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'll let you carry on.
I reckon he'll start against Denmark still, Morel. But I think it was the right decision to hook him against Italy, because I thought he wasn't having a bad game, but it was the first time where you've looked at him and said, this is not a starter in the championship or something like this, But
I think how much he's played this season, though.
Yeah, of course.
He hasn't. So to be doing as well as he's done, like you said before, we can't really fault him. But against a side like Italy, I think, it's always going to show players off like that we do have in the side. But that's it's one of the issues we've got with the squad we've got available now. It's a really great young squad, but you're always going to get out of the tournament though when you've got 3 million people to choose from compared to like 50, 60 of some other countries. But that's
3 million of them, and about 1.5 million are called Joe, apparently. Joe Rodon, Joe Allen, Joe Morel, Joe Ledley. The list goes on. It's ridiculous. But speaking of Joes as well, the other 2 Joes, Joe Allen and Joe Rodon, again are going to be unlucky if they don't get put in the team of the tournament. I thought Joe Allen against Italy was immense. Against Turkey, I thought it was one of his best ever games in a Wales shirt. And against Italy, again, he was a rock. He was brilliant. He managed to hold up the ball and to change the sort of flow of play. I thought he was outstanding. And Joe Rodon as well. Joe Rodon is unbelievable. How lucky are Tottenham to have bagged him for 15 million before this tournament?
Yeah,
I think he's going to double his value at least by the end of July.
Maybe he's staying at Tottenham for a while.
Depends who they get in. They've still got a manager out there.
If he doesn't start next season for Tottenham, I mean, who are they playing at the back? Sanchez
and Eric Dyer.
I
don't know. I don't really watch Spurs, mate, to be honest.
I think Eric Dyer's more of a bench player. I think Rodon has started.
Oh, Alderweireld's playing some still, didn't he?
Say, but I'm pretty certain Rodon.
And it's Vertonghen that's gone.
Vertonghen buggered off to Ajax or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's got to start for Tottenham. It's ridiculous. I said it in a couple of podcasts now. I think he's future Wales captain material. He's just unbelievable. Doesn't look fazed by anything. He's got a constant snarl on his face as well. Never looks happy when he's playing, and I love to see that. I don't want to see you smiling. I want to see you looking like you're going to knock 7 shades of shit out of him.
Like Roy Keane there, Sam.
Me?
Like smilers, does he?
Oh God, that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing
in the green room after this recording, are you? No, I agree with you about Joe Rodon. Like in a game like this as well, where we're going to be defending for 80+ minutes, you need those defenders that are going to relish throwing themselves at every ball, sort of jumping for every header, scrapping for every, literally everything that comes in. Against a top side like Italy, you've got those technical players that are going to sort of get a yard on you as well. And, beat to balls here and there, and he just throughout the whole tournament, Joe rode on for such a young player as well. Like, it's just surprising now. Not surprising, but it's just great how dependable he is for like 23, 24, something like that.
Some criminal age that makes us feel absolutely like we've wasted our lives.
I think you said before as well, he's built like a brick shit house, good in the air, throws himself at everything. Future captain material, certainly.
What I love as well is when you see him on the pitch, you can easily read what he's saying, and you can easily hear it in like a Ronda accent, Like I can't remember what team it was. If it was against Switzerland, it was against Turkey. But the ref was having a pop at him during a corner or something. He's going, "What is he on about?" You can see it. Go, "What is he on about?" It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I love him. I'm a massive Joe Rodon fan. He's quickly turned into one of my favourite Wales players.
Okay.
Really, really happy with him. What do you think about Danny Ward as well?
I was just going to say, I'd like to share a stat with you I've seen about Danny Ward, if you don't mind. So I've seen a really interesting stat that's been circulated. You might have seen it as well. I know you both love the magical XG, expected goals statistic, that all Football Manager virgins are on board with nowadays.
Does that include you, man?
I played Football Manager since 2017, isn't it?
No, not me. I'm a Football Manager. I'm a Football Manager.
Let me finish, and then you can give me shit. All right. So unless you're Tom King and you can slot goals in from 100+ yards, you have like an expected goals that you've prevented stat as a goalkeeper. So whatever the calculation metric is, I don't understand it, to be honest with you. Danny Ward, this tournament has presented an average of 3.77. So near enough 4 expected goals. So like very good chances that you're going to score. And he's made like 14 saves in the 3 matches or something that we played. So
yeah,
we've relied so much on him this tournament. I think the debates before the tournament as well in March, when we didn't know who was going to be playing in goal. Neither him or Hennessy are playing. I think Adam Davis is probably or like Chris Maxwell. He's not in the squads. Tom King is not in the squad. They're the goalkeepers that have played a chunk of the season for the club sides. And Danny Ward, second choice at Leicester, has been putting in some phenomenal performances. And
next game
he's going up against his number one, isn't he?
So I reckon they should have a bet. They should have a bet, and the one who concedes the most goals should just retire.
Well, I mean, if they have a bet, they'll both get banned from playing football for like 2-3 years, won't they?
Aye.
Gambling.
Yeah, we know who the number 1 keeper is now.
Well, we'll see. I thought Kasper Schmeichel's had a mare.
I meant for Wales.
No, for Wales, yeah. But also Kasper Schmeichel's had a mare.
I've heard a lot of people talking about, what's going to happen when Hennessy moves on, because he's 34 now. We chatted that the other week, and it was right. So, he's not playing for Palace through no fault of his own. Guaite has been fantastic since he's joined them. He's sort of getting to that age now where you are going to think about retiring from international football for a goalkeeper. I don't really know. I'm not a footballer, am I? I don't really know how long goalkeepers play till internationally, but I know they play longer in their club careers usually. Yeah. Like, you've had them go until 40 odd before.
I think he's in his twilight, isn't he?
Yeah. But, would you rather him sort of bow out as a second choice a bit more now? And so he's always been so dependable for Wales, especially over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. He's going to be remembered as one of the best keepers in Welsh history, in my opinion.
When he's not doing Nazi salutes,
Just like Ryan Giggs, we don't talk about that.
I think he is our second.
It's a family show, even though we said shit about 3 times.
He is our second keeper now, I think. Ward's shown him. Well, Ward's shown everyone in Wales, not him. Like, everyone in Wales, he's good enough for that spot. I think I mentioned this the first podcast we did. I put my hand up and thought Danny Ward's not good enough a few years ago, and I'll still stand by that. A few years ago, I think
you'll stand by it now after this tournament.
I know.
Isn't your dad a Leicester fan as well? Shouldn't you know?
But no, I don't. He's proven me wrong, to be fair to him.
I've always believed.
Yeah, I think Hennessy's second choice now, nailed on. Yeah. Ward's number 1 now for me.
I've always believed in Danny Ward. He's gone from Wrexham to Liverpool. He's like my dream.
You can use that as a title for this episode. Danny Ward is like my dream.
Danny Ward, my lord.
I was going to say Danny Ward mugged me off and quote Lewis, but he didn't quite say that, so I don't know if we could use it.
No.
What about Nico Williams? Talking again about the Liverpool
Justice
Wrexham,
for Nico Williams.
Yeah, Liverpool Wrexham connection. He's getting fobbed off for 10 million.
Shafted. I'd take him at Arsenal for that. We need a right back that can run forward and slightly defend. You could probably defend better than Bellerin, let's be honest.
Definitely.
We're probably not going to buy him, let's be honest, but I wouldn't say no to him. Who else have we got in rotation? Cedric Suarez. Come on, bro.
I've heard that he's going to Southampton, is what I did.
Southampton.
I don't think that'd be a bad move.
It'd be a good
decent
move for
team.
him.
He'll be getting 20 games a season, you'd expect, and they'll probably have him filling in at left back as well.
This is the question now, isn't it? Because is it Liverpool pushing him, or is it him pushing Liverpool? To leave because. Probably a bit of both. You're right, because I mean he's never going to dethrone Alexander Arnold, is he? It's just not realistic unless one of them moves up the field.
Yeah.
I still think Nico would do just as good a job, as a left winger. I think he'd do a wicked job as an inverted winger because he carries the ball so well. But I don't know. My heart says I want him to stay, but my head says he should go to Southampton and get 90 minutes on the regular, and because it would be brilliant for Wales if he was, because he could follow in Bale's footstep, having played for Southampton.
You just don't like this Liverpool exodus from Liverpool, do you? This Welsh exodus from Liverpool.
It'll be a learning curve, and this is what when we look at players who are at big clubs and stay at big clubs, their name will drop. Or not their name, but we don't get to see what they're like in 90 minutes. This is for any youngster. Go out on loan, get away from the big clubs, because the chances of you making it into that starting 11 or even on the bench is very slim.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it?
So in my opinion, anyone who's in those big teams, it doesn't matter if they're Welsh or whatever nationality or who they are, go out on loan.
Yeah.
Make a name for yourself, whether it's Championship, League One, League Two. There will be a club that is interested in buying you. And if you don't show your talent, you're not going to ever go as high as what you possibly think you can. And it will be a learning curve for everyone who goes out on loan, or even if they do play with big players and stay on the bench. But in my opinion, go out on loan, learn how to play 90 minutes, learn the game, learn different styles of formations, tactics, whatever it is, go out on loan, get a transfer, and learn.
Yeah, you're right, because I feel like if we go back 15 odd years or whatever, the same thing happened. Mourinho came into the Premier League and stuff like that, and it was it became at risk of sounding like a proper gammon, it became quite a lot of foreign players coming in and stuff, instead of the youth system got pushed onto the back burners a little bit. But that changed about 3-4 years ago, but it seems to flip-flop right back.
Probably because, sorry, mine. Do you want to go?
Sorry.
Yeah, probably because facilities have got better. And teams have more money nowadays, whereas before they probably had the money to just buy a top-class player, which still goes on. There's no denying that happens. That will happen every league. Teams will buy players because they want the best. So it's just like if Man City need a striker, they're apparently linked with Harry Kane. I can't blame them. But is there anyone there that's maybe on their way in there? But in terms of why your point is, Sam, I think it's more because they've got the money to get better facilities and make grassroots sports stronger.
But it's changed again now. I think it coincides with the whole Man City monopoly on the league as well, because it all changed, I think, for me when Mourinho came in and Chelsea had this little monopoly on the league and they were smashing it basically with Didier Drogba and all that. And then maybe it was when Leicester won the league that this changed, and we saw an influx of players from the youth team coming into the first team. If you look at Chelsea, you look at what's his name, Reece James, Mason Mount,
Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, and then for Liverpool, you've got Curtis Jones, you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold in United, you've got McTominay, you've got Brandon Williams, but I think he sort of dropped off them.
There's loads at Arsenal as well. It's like Saka, Nelson, Smith Rowe, Willock.
It seems to have just flipped again, and now players are being forced to leave once again. Because look at Tammy Abraham, he's having to leave Chelsea now to get some games, isn't he, and stuff, you know? So it's a shame, really. But it's a really good point where you make this.
Yeah, I think, of course, it varies where the managers have come into the sides as well. I know you mentioned City as one of the teams that probably buys everyone. Yeah, they do. They've spent $500 million on defenders in the last 10 years. But Phil Foden, free through the youth academy. You can't really put a price on a player like that. But there've always been teams that are better for recruiting through their youth setups. Think Liverpool, United, Arsenal, maybe even Chelsea to a point, even though they like minesweeping from West Ham's youth setup.
Chelsea have made a new breed of footballer, which literally just goes on loan.
But I was going to say they just have 50 players out on loan a season, don't they? So.
I don't know if you're aware of
this. He's on a Chelsea loan, isn't he?
Here's one for you. If I'm right, I know Brentford of this, and I think Huddersfield followed in footsteps. I can't give you the year, but they don't have academies anymore. They'll just have like potentially an under-23s and a reserve team because they're better off. There's more the money system going out. Okay, the smaller clubs will suffer because money's going in and out and all that. So that's why one of the reasons. But also, what you'll notice from that is the big clubs are just any sort of player. We'll take them. We'll expand them and make them big. And what Brentford will do is Brentford, is scout and try and do like Leicester, just pick them off on little buys. Yeah. And that's how they do it.
Or like get them at the end of the contracts. What what the big clubs will do as well, because they've got the resources to do that. Think of Arsenal compared to Brentford. They both probably have similar scouting networks being in London. I know. I think one's north, one's like southeast-ish. Yeah. But they'll have similar scouting networks. But Arsenal, like they're both Premier League sides now, so they both have pretty good pull. But we're gonna have the resources to pull someone in, and then if, like Leah said, you can just play it what's the contracts are expiring, pick them up on the cheap, or sign them for your under 23s. Look at some of the players they've had come through their youth system though. Ollie Watkins went for 30 million or something to Villa, maybe less. Can't remember. He's been banging him in all season. He's looked really good. I thought he was quite unlucky to miss out for England, bringing them up again.
I would have had Bamford over him, to be honest. But
anyway. I thought Bamford was quite unlucky to miss out as well.
But I'd say that the Welsh teams are just as or even more guilty of this. When was the last time you saw a Welsh contingent playing for Cardiff?
No,
Swansea maybe less so, but Cardiff.
Swansea have been doing all right. I think a few of the younger players have moved on.
Wrexham at the moment, we've got Jordan Davies, haven't we? Yeah. Who's a local lad. He's been playing well. But
they've cleaned off this end of this season, haven't they? Really, I think they released 9 players. And, probably a few youth players can leave as well.
But again, when was the last time you thought of a proper Welsh contingent playing for Cardiff, for example? Jazz Robert is the last person I can think of.
And this goes down. Sorry, I think this goes down again to facilities.
Yeah, well,
coaches, just everything involved. England obviously have a lot of money. We all know that, and we all see it. They gain so much more money from football than Wales do. Okay, and especially being down here, like you can see the facilities they've got is incredible. Like some of the stuff is absolutely fantastic.
Are you telling me it's better than Coronation Gardens?
Better than that, but that's the sort of example that we could go off that. But like the Morvers in Prestatyn, their pitch is literally, you would have some straight, then it'd be dip, then it's straight again, and it's like, how can we teach kids or young athletes technical abilities on that?
We've already said this as well, haven't we?
The question is there. If we can't necessarily force us on that, how do we improve the system? Yeah. Because Wales can get better. All internationals, nations, countries. I've just said the same thing 3 times.
International countries.
Keep going. There's a few more.
I suppose international countries
will have a small budget maybe for sport. I don't know if that's true. Obviously, every country is different, so it might be more or less for some of the countries. But when you've got that money, how do we invest it? Do we invest it in multiple sports and try and build multiple arena sort of areas, like a sports hall, for instance? Or do we try and improve some grassland? You know, in my opinion, if football is going to stay on grass, sorry, I've just whacked my table. It's going to stay on grass because I remember at one point I was talking about artificial pitches as the way forward. Yes, you can go with that, but it's a lot of money to then go with it and then learn how to play on grass. It's the same game, but it's a different technique. That ball will move differently to how it will on a artificial pitch. And in my opinion, it just comes down to how FAW, how FA, the Scottish FA, how they want to spend the money.
Yeah,
it's interesting you've mentioned the funding.
I generally don't think it's a case of we don't have the numbers.
No, definitely not. You look at a small area like between Real Prestatyn and Wrexham, the quality of player that's come from that area.
But that's what I think. I just think they sort of need, if they want to promote football, I do know a stat that more minor sports are actually becoming more popular, like the parkour and all that sort of stuff. That's become popular.
Olympic breakdance.
Football sort of state level. We know it's the most popular sport in the world, but other sports are taken off, maybe because they're different, they're new and exciting, maybe because there's new facilities. Football's just on grass. Anyone can kick a ball on a grass. Yes, you can. But
you should see me, lad.
When have we had a nice football pitch? Like we've seen some Welsh Premier League pitches. When have they looked?
Well, this is the point I was going to make.
I've got one here. Sorry, I remember watching a Ballatown game. It was on S4C, and the mid-line, so where they would take the balls to kick off, wasn't even straight. It was just curvy.
Still can't stop Chris Venables, though, can it?
Stop having a go at the groundsman. They work hard at Mice, Taggart. Come on.
That sort of thing to me isn't good enough, and it doesn't matter. That's not the Welsh FA's fault. That's Ballatown getting that wrong. I mean, like, what are you doing? Like, get back out there. We want to look professional.
I think it does come down to the FAW, though. I think, COVID and everything.
The clubs need to be more strict and be like, no, we're a professional club. That line needs to be straight. That's a joke.
Well, that's the thing. They're not professional clubs, are they?
Yeah, I think
the issue is twofold, really.
Sorry, I know a lot of volunteers for the clubs as well. I know Welsh Premier League get a lot of volunteers, and yes, thank you to all of them for what they do. But
you're shit.
Like, honestly, when I saw that line, I laughed because it was just embarrassing. And just like explaining that point now, like, you don't realize how annoyed you are at certain, just so simple.
Yeah.
And just making a club look more professional. There you go. Let's just have a wobbly line.
I don't know. I mean, I think it does come down a lot to the FAW and everything, because you've got to go for a top-down approach. Really. If you want your leagues to look professional and everything, you have to give them the support, don't you? I think the COVID-19 sort of situation has proven the disparity, not so much the FAW, but the Welsh government as well, how they view the priorities, because I think the WRU got a lot of handouts basically for everything that happened in between. But the Welsh, you look at we talk about the Welsh Premier League, or if you go lower, those leagues just got cancelled and nulled and voided and everything. You've got really historic teams like Real going under and everything like that. And it goes to show, I think it is something to do with the higher, the higher ranking officials and everything. Yeah. Because if you want, people to have respect for the league and everything, then you've got to respect your own league, haven't you?
Yes.
This is the thing for me. You've both summed it up exactly there. There's 2 points that, need to be addressed. Why can't we have a professional football league in Wales? That's
absolutely no reason why we can't.
That's one of the main things that's going to raise the infrastructure around the country in terms of training facilities, that trickles down through the academies to the club teams to the schools, etc. And then the problem is you have kids growing up wanting to play in the Premier League because that's the big professional league. There is no reason to say we can't have the Welsh Premier League on par with something like the SPL, decent sized professional league. You can have a team or two maybe getting into European competition, having a bit of a run 1 or 2 years, but that in turn, that's going to increase the standard of the international players going through. You're going to have more better sides, better competition, things like that. But like you said as well, it's the funding. You said about the WRU. there was 17 point something million made available by the Welsh government for funding sports over COVID, bailout, pandemic money, whatever you want to call it. Can't remember the name of the loans. 14.5 million went to the WRU out of 17.5 million. So that leaves 3 million to go between the other sports. I know ice hockey got a fairly big chunk because the Cardiff Devils are massive for revenue and that.
Yes.
That's between 4 professional football teams and the Welsh Premier League as well. I think they probably got 1.5 million, 2 million. Yeah. That's absolutely crazy. They throw in that much money at the WRU for, the loss of the crowd over the Six Nations. WRU's fine. They've got the bloody rugby sevens players contracts anyway, so they're not getting any money.
We're not big rugby fans. It's not like us slagging rugby or WRU or anything.
But that's the thing, it's the cash cow for the Welsh government. They know it's one of the biggest tourist attractions. So Wales playing at the Millennium Stadium. Think how much money that brings into the city for tourism. You're going to put a bubble around that and try and protect that. They just haven't given a shit about.
But it also comes down to
Welsh Premier League and lower the whole time.
It comes down to North Wales getting shafted as well, doesn't it? Because the WRU, where is it based and everything, and
all 4 regions, all based in South Wales. 3 of the 4 professional clubs based in South Wales. Just Wrexham didn't even get the money, did they?
No, they didn't get nothing, I don't think. So, but
all the English teams did. Wales. No.
I think Wrexham didn't get it off the National League, but they got it off the Welsh government. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, yes.
Sorry, Mark
Drakeford. Just got a quick question. Am I right in saying TNS, the new Saints, did it only full professional side in?
I think so.
League.
I think so.
I think that's still the way, isn't it?
Does anybody remember when they were Total Network Solutions?
What's that? Sorry.
I remember hearing them being called it, like hearing about them. But from Shropshire, as far as I'm concerned. So.
Yeah.
I also think this is one I've. Sorry, we could have a whole podcast on this. You don't realise how many points we're talking on, but I always think the advertising as well. If you go anywhere, it is unlikely you will see Bangor, Prestatyn, Neath, Llanelli. I'm just throwing teams out there.
Oh God, the way you pronounce Llanelli made me want to vomit.
Yeah, sorry. My accent's not great. Voice
being very picky.
But you go to a pub and they won't be on. You have to ask for it, which is great when it's on. But it's just something there we could do.
Well, it might be because they only televise the games on S4C.
It's a hard one because I think
they could put it on BBC Two Wales as well. No, the coverage is great. I'm not berating that.
And you look at the Euros this year on S4C. The quality of the coverage has been so much better than the BBC.
Yeah,
cutting to England shit and everything in the middle of the halftime stuff. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think a lot of it can come down to advertising as well. I don't know how good the advertising is. I really
listen. Wales is a nation.
That sort of says, sorry, Sam. I think us not really knowing much about the advertising sort of sums up their advertising. Like, it's not like every day you see S4C, bang, bang. We don't even get mentioned on Sky Sports. Same with Northern Ireland.
Table goes around, but they don't talk about it.
We don't talk around it because it doesn't make money.
It flashes up on the screen every.
It'll be on the
25, 30 minutes. However long it takes the tables to go around. But
mention that, but like Wales don't have a chat show or little things around that because it doesn't bring income.
Listen, I mean, Wales as a nation has always struggled with self-confidence, isn't it? We're picking itself up and exactly. And at the end of the day, I think a massive part of this, when we're talking about grassroots football and everything, and rugby included, is the fact that we're just not connected north to south. There's there's all roads point to England, literally,
Yes.
And for that reason, how can you possibly, we have a North and a South Wales league, the lower down you go. And in the Cymru Premier and everything, it's Haverfordwest is South Wales. Who else? Llanelli, are they still in it? No, they're not.
Yeah,
Barry Town.
Llanelli made me sick.
Llanelli, boys. Llanelli. But yeah, there you go. I mean, it goes to show. I think if we had the infrastructure to have
a South Wales team as well.
Newtown's sort of
West Wales.
No, it's in the east, isn't it? It's like mid-east Wales, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's a lot to do with that. I think it's a lot to do with the fact that we're not connected the way we should be and everything. So it's very difficult to sustain a league and sustain followers of a league. If people from Haverfordwest can't go to Caernarfon for the game, then it's a shame. But you see, it's changing. I really do think it's changing, because you look at the Caernarfon fans and everything. They're massive for it, and as well. Sorry, Lewis, as well. With Wrexham, with Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney getting involved and everything, that will really shine a light on Wales and North Wales as well. And I think we can look at, I think the S4C and I think the Welsh FA would be really ridiculously stupid not to latch on to this and to use it to their advantage and everything. So hopefully we can see some change in the future. But I think at the end of the day, I think the coverage on S4C is absolutely excellent, and it's quality. If it was offered in English as well, which I think often is, then it would do better still. But at the end of the day, Welsh speakers have just as much a right to access football and to have football. It's the only football you can watch in Welsh, is the Welsh Premier League, which is ridiculous as well, because we have Cardiff and Swansea and Wrexham playing the English league, but we don't have access to Welsh language commentary. So I don't think I don't think that should change, or anything. But I think at the end of the day, it comes a lot down to the infrastructure that Wales has and everything, and that and that's not an excuse by any way, shape, or form. But it's something that I think the Welsh government will have to respond to eventually, especially with Wales doing so well again in the Euros and everything. You can't deny it anymore that we're as much of a football nation as we are a rugby nation. And we deserve the infrastructure that rugby gets and the funding and the support that rugby gets. And at the end of the day, you level up Welsh football, you level up North Wales to a point. And a big problem that everybody has with the Welsh government is how North Wales is sort of ignored to an extent. It's a really good way to get the people of North Wales more on board with devolution and the Welsh government and everything like that. So anyway, that's my piece. Sorry.
I'm just going to make one change. If anyone in Welsh FA or even minor nations, for me, especially Wales, put the games to 12 o'clock. Put the games at 12 o'clock on a Saturday, maybe Friday late afternoon. Get away from the Premier League at 3. Get away from that, because we all know. I'm sorry, we'll
3
go
3 o'clock on Saturday sunshine. That's when you play
3
football.
People are going to go, the football's on, I'm going to stay at home or whatever. They're not going to go out to the local team to go and watch the football game.
Don't they do that in France though, or something? Where the big day for football, I think they have a late evening game on Friday, and then most of the games are on Sunday.
That's what they do
Saturday.
But it's not enough. They were at one point 3 o'clock, and as soon as it's 3 o'clock, you've got the battle of the Premier League. Do you watch Welsh Premier League or do you watch Elite?
Yeah, it's competition. That's the problem. You're right. It's a really good point. I think as well, a big problem as well that we have with the World is that the big teams, the big draws, are also not in the Premier League.
Yes.
Real, Bangor, these teams have all been absolutely screwed over by, sort of nefarious forces from inside the football world. Yeah, and it's left them in the rut.
Scumbags.
Exactly.
Scumbag owners.
That's a big problem as well. Because imagine if you had Caernarfon Bangor and Rhyl in the same league, it would be saucy. And it's an event. What people want is a drama. They want the narrative and everything like that. There's a massive
maybe even put Prestatyn back in there so they can get relegated again just for.
Well, sorry. There's a load of things we can go into. You mentioned Prestatyn there, which you have to have certain licenses to go up, and I think the licenses are pathetic. Whole topic on its own. But I think we need to start talking about this Denmark game.
Like a true Prestatyn fan.
I like how you moved that on to the Denmark game, Lewis.
Round of 16.
You can host next week. Then.
Oh God!
I like the idea of this. It was the games on Monday. We found out we'll be facing Denmark round of 16. That's going to be on Saturday. With a 5 o'clock kickoff, aren't we?
So yes,
prime time earlier. I'm quite. I'll give you my trivia after this, but I'm missing the 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock football throughout the week. Yeah. I think today's been the first game. There's been no days on. So.
Yeah, you're right. I was a bit lost, wasn't it? Yeah.
I've been waiting for you nerds to come on here. So.
Let's go.
I like the idea, Martin, of you sat in that room, like twiddling with your fingers, waiting for us to.
That's why I got the spinny chair, so I can just do laps in it.
Hello, Mr. Parr.
Right. I hope you got your brains napped up, boys.
I think, Martin, you got any thoughts against Denmark then?
I've got a trivia question for you.
Yeah, let's do a trivia.
Do the trivia before Denmark.
Break up the show a bit, because this is related to travel. So, going to be in Amsterdam at the Johan Cruyff Arena, and it sucks that no Wales fans are going to be there because Amsterdam away in a European Championship, is that not one of the best away days you could ask for? As an former edgy Leeds student, I should say, at least. So I believe with this game as well, maybe before this, Wales are the team at Euro 2020 who've travelled the furthest distance. But 2 games in Baku, at least they let us stay over for the night, so we didn't have to travel there and back again. And then to Rome from there. So, basically sort of one side of Europe to the other, and then sort of a little hop up to Amsterdam. I think it was 1987, not quite sure of the year, but a famous Welsh international played 2 football matches in the same day.
I know who it is.
Represented. Oh, have you heard this one?
Yeah. Go on, sorry.
You're not answering then. It's a question for Lewis.
Got to answer.
So this man represented his country against the Czech Republic. I think they were called by that. Oh no, it would have been Czechoslovakia back then, but the Czech Republic.
We did that the other day. I did that I think it's the other podcast. Is it?
I don't think you did.
I said Czechoslovakia is what I said.
Oh, right.
Like, God.
So I thought you were about the question. I was just thinking that then. So yeah, this player played the Czechs in Prague, jumped on flight, and then got subbed on later for his club side in Germany. Lewis Parr, since Sam already knows the answer, can you name the player who was a former Wales manager as well? And for a bonus point, can you name the club side he represented?
If Lewis is again, I know both of these answers.
Yeah, both of these.
What was it?
You don't want to hazard a guess?
You got to
1987, mate. Come on, you can have a guess at that. Someone with grey hair.
Oh, grey hair. Guessing. God, I don't even know.
I'll give you a clue. Shansan game. Shansan game. Famous video. Shansan game.
I haven't seen that video. I don't know. I might as well. Let's go Hamburg. Mark Hughes.
Half right. It's Mark Hughes. But
it is Bayern Munich.
Do you know who Bayern Munich were playing that day?
Hamburg.
No, it's not Hamburg.
I'm going to say...
Stuttgart.
Mönchengladbach.
Yeah. Borussia Mönchengladbach. I believe, according to Twitter. So,
I knew that fact. I don't know why, but yeah, he flew... It was in the same day, wasn't it?
Yeah, he flew to Munich, I think, from Prague, or wherever Mönchengladbach is. I couldn't tell you. So yeah, speaking of air miles, Denmark and Amsterdam. What we thinking about Quizmaster Sam?
Right, I'm going to give you my
I hate quizzes. I hate these.
This is a good one. This, right. So the last time that we beat Denmark, we played Denmark, I think 10 times. The last time we beat them was in a friendly in 2008 in Denmark.
So that's not we played Denmark.
The last time we beat
because of Nation League.
Not the last time we beat them.
Oh, last time we beat them. Sorry.
That's what you said, right?
The last time we beat them, yeah, it was in 2008.
I thought you said played.
2008 in Denmark, we won 1-0, right? There's 2 parts to this question.
Who scored?
No, first of all, who had their debut?
It's Denmark.
Oh.
In 08. 2008.
I'm going for a rogue one. I'm going to say Bale.
Ben Davis.
Also not Ben Davis.
Hennessy?
Not
Ashley Williams.
Not Ashley Williams.
Anyone in the 2016 squad? Yes. Williams?
No.
Gunter?
No.
2008. Hennessy? No.
No.
Not him.
He was an unused sub, he was.
Unused sub.
Rambo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Rambo got his debut against Denmark for a 1-0 win. Right, okay, second part.
Other half.
This is the far more difficult part. How many of the starting 11 can you name?
Of that team?
Yeah, you've mentioned a bunch of them, to be honest. It's
so
not
Hennessy's not in goal, so should we guess Bowes Myhill?
Bowes Myhill, correct.
Oh!
The golf cart man himself, yeah.
Oh man, I'm stumped. I thought I wasn't expecting to get a goalkeeper right.
Simon Davis?
Simon Davis, no.
No.
Bale.
Bale, yes.
Oh, 2008, so earlier than what? Oh, I keep thinking I'm miles out here. God, I'm scared now.
Well, obviously Aaron Ramsey. Obviously. Yeah. So there's 3. You've got 3 out of 11 so far.
Who's defended? Williams? Is he
over again?
Chris Gunter.
Chris Gunter, correct.
Gunter, obviously.
Obviously. Why didn't you say it then?
Thank you, Martin.
Right. Obviously, so I've just exploit it. The family show, Martin.
There's some other household names in this squad.
I'm trying to think of strikers here.
Joe Ledley.
Oh,
not Joe Ledley. Good shout.
Joe Allen.
Oh, wait. What do you say, Lewis?
Jed Evans.
Correct.
Oh, that's a good shout. Fair dues.
So Simon Church with him as well then.
Was Bellamy still playing there?
Craig Bellamy, who scored the winner.
Yeah.
Oh,
when did Giggs retire?
A bit. Oh, I don't know actually, but he didn't play. He wasn't a sub either, so I assume before 2008.
No, he must have retired then. No, who was it then?
Kumas, no, he disappeared off the face of the earth before this.
Was it before then?
Who's in the
2008? Remember, it's like the dark ages of Welsh football when they're playing in the Millennium Stadium for about 10,000.
I don't think I watched international football in 2008, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, but there's still some really household names that you're missing here.
Go on then.
No.
Neil Taylor.
Not Neil Taylor, but you're on the right lines, I suppose.
Left.
Think Euro 2016, boys.
David Edwards.
Correct. David Edwards. Well done.
Yeah, David Vaughan. David Vaughan.
Hal Robson Carney.
Not Hal. No.
You got to throw a guess out there, Luke. James Chester.
No.
James Collins.
Yes. Well done. Ginge played. Yeah. Who was his centre back partner?
Callum Davenport. No, what was the
easy? It's so easy. Come on.
Not Callum Davenport. What's the West Ham player that got injured and never played again? It was really good.
Maybe, I'm not sure if you're talking about one of these people, but there's another West Ham player.
How many players have we missed out?
So far, you're missing 1, 2. You got 3 to get.
Can you give us the positions?
1 you have to get, and the other 2 I wouldn't be surprised you don't get them. So one of the positions is centre back. That's the one.
I hate this.
I can't believe this. This is.
I can't think of a West Ham player.
Of course, he's not a West Ham player. There was.
You said about West Ham.
Yeah, there's 3. You're missing 3. One of them is a West Ham player, but not the centre back.
Oh, the centre back. Who's it?
For God's sake, boys, this is embarrassing, eh?
You're embarrassing.
Just share it. Come on.
Wales captain.
Danny Gabardon.
Ashley fucking Williams.
I said Ashley Williams, you pillock.
When did he say Ashley Williams?
Ages ago.
You said Ashley Williams for the debut.
Ages ago.
You said Ashley Williams for the debut.
Yeah, we repeated it because you said loads of the ones. That's okay. What are the other 2 then?
Okay, Lewin Nyatanga, one of them that he retired very early, didn't he? Yeah. And Jack Collinson, who's the other West Ham player.
Collinson, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Right,
that was a good one, wasn't it, boys? That was a good one.
Sounds amazing. Ashley Williams isn't right, and give us a captain. Oh, that's pathetic.
Wait, Ashley, you said Ashley Williams.
It's a good question. I'll give you that, Sam.
Don't get upset because it took you ages to guess the answer.
You said Ashley Williams for the debut, not for the lineup, boys. Otherwise, I would have snapped the other.
Yeah. We've got Denmark, round of 16. We're going to come back to this, I reckon, as we were saying. What were your thoughts?
What are you thinking?
50-50 game.
John, who's going to share the thoughts first here?
I think they'll give us a good game, but at the end of the day, I think we'll come out stronger, to be honest. I do back us.
Oh, good.
Any 50-50 game, I back us. With the defence that we have, our foundations are definitely built at the back, and, We've got Ben Davies coming back in the team. We've got Kiefer Moore coming back into the team. We're going to come at them strong. We've got Mepham coming back into the team as well, who had a cracker against Turkey. Hopefully can carry that momentum into the Denmark game. I think we'll definitely go back to the 4-3-3 system.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it has to happen. I mean, having seen the difference in performance between Turkey and Italy, although Italy was a great performance at the back, up top it was, left a lot to be desired. We got in a good few times, and Ramsey had the chance, Bale had the chance, Chris Gunter had the chance. But I think we have to go back to 4-3-3 if we're going, and I think we have to go a bit hell for leather at times as well. Not for the whole game, of course. I think we'll have to pick our moments, but I think it's one of the games where we've actually got more of a chance. Playing in Amsterdam in decent conditions on our time zone, or at least near to our time zone. I think the Rome game against Italy was like 30 odd degrees, which is just, you've got all the English lot complaining playing in Wembley because it was like 26 degrees or something. Try going to bloody Azerbaijan, So I think a lot of it is in our favour. Of course, they've, through tragic circumstances, lost their. I make it sound like he's died. He hasn't died, but for very sad and unfortunate circumstances, they've lost probably their star player in Christian Eriksen, which also means that probably the world wants us to lose, and the world is back in Denmark to do it for Christian Eriksen. But I back us quite strongly, actually. I think any 50-50 game, we've got to back Wales at this point. We've shown we've got the grit, the determination to do it. We've got the force at the back. We've got Kiefer Moore at the top. We've got Ramsey. We've got Bale in good form. I back us. What about you, lads?
Come on.
Definitely, mate. I have to say, when I sort of found out the route for finishing second in the group and sort of 3 teams we'd get, I don't know whether it's a bit of arrogance or a bit of confidence, but I thought, back us against either of those 3 teams. You just said we haven't beat Denmark since 2008, but we've played them twice in the Nations League, had sort of 1-goal deficit losses, so that's not bad.
But I went to that game and, 2-1 was flattering. It was flattering.
But still, I did pick them as a dark horse before the tournament. That was before everything that happened with Eriksen. But, they've sort of scraped through the group in the end, haven't they, to get to where they are. They put a lot into that final game to get through. Like you've said, Sam, we are just very hard to beat nowadays. I think that's a testament to the work all the players have put in, sort of the way they're gelling together in the side as well under the new system. Like we both, like all 3 of us have said, or I'll just confirm what you guys said, it has to be a back four on Saturday.
Definitely.
I think the Danes play a back 3 or a back 5. So, if we have that extra man in midfield, we'll be able to exploit him in behind. Hopefully we've got Bale and James. And then Kiefer Moore as well against 3 centre-halves. You're going to need a big physical presence like that to, if we are being pinned back a fair bit, you're going to need someone to relieve the play. I think Danny Ward was trying a lot of the type of clearances and kicks out. He was trying to more to Bale, and it didn't really work against Italy. He's decent in the air. He's quite tall. He's got a good jump, but you've got a 6'5" championship striker in there. You're going to want him. You're going to back him against sort of decent Premier League standard defenders, aren't you? Trying to think who plays in defence with Denmark. Is it Vestergaard?
Yeah. But Yannick Vestergaard is rubbish. Yeah, I'm going to put it out here. I'm going to put it out here. Yannick Vestergaard is trash, man. If you've watched him playing for Southampton this year, I don't know how many penalties and own goals he's had, but he's had a mare of a season.
That's the thing. It's a bit like Soyuncu in the Leicester side. He's got a mistake in him. I think we've got the players to expose that, especially with the pacing behind. That'll cause him trouble.
He's rattleable.
What are you thinking, Lewis? Are you
nervous?
Nervous.
I think we've got the worst one of the
possibility.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I was praying for Finland, man.
Yeah, Finland, Russia. I was very confident that we could beat them. I'm nervous more about Denmark because they kicked in some form. They looked good against Belgium in the first half until De Bruyne came on and just showed his class and just tore them apart. And then that 4-1? Just correct me if I'm wrong. I think
4-1 against Russia.
4-1 against Russia.
Was that 4-2?
No.
4-2. It was 4-something. Seeing that just made me a bit, oh God. Here we go.
Russia played really poorly, though.
The last few games, like you said, we've lost. They seem to be wanting this. I don't know if it's after what's happened or if it's just their team.
It must have lit a fire
a little bit both going on, but yeah, I'm a little bit nervous actually. I think we've got enough to win, but I'm a little bit nervous, and they're going to give us a tough game.
I'm in the same boat as you.
This is one of the toughest games we have in a tournament, where it could be like the Switzerland game, where it's just we pinch something last minute. This is going to be a tight game. I don't see it being high scoring. Obviously, because boring Lewis only goes but that's what I feel. It's like what you mentioned there. They could go back 3-5. We don't actually know what they're going to do. It's hard to guess. But if we play 4-3-3 and they play a 3 at the back, I fancy our chances, because we're just going to stretch those 3 defenders out, and that leaves a lot of space. We're going to force them back. But yeah, I think they've got a good enough talent to break us down as well. I think we've got to give some credit to Denmark and show their 4 goals, or however many goals they've scored, and how they've played as a team is just so strong and just brilliant to be watching at the minute. I am a little bit nervous.
I think you're right. I think the majority of the players that are in this team now are the team that beat us in the Nations League. I think we've changed a lot more than they have, to be honest. And I remember being at the game, Poulsen gave us a lot of problems. Eriksson was the biggest threat in that game, and I think he scored both the goals, in fact.
Obviously, it's nice for us not to have him. Thankfully, he's doing well with his recovery. But with him not being there, it does give us a little bit of a push, because that's their main player. But they've shown they can play without him.
Yeah.
In my opinion, for a half. And that last game, they've got the determination there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, as well as being really nervous.
I think it's the Belgium game that gives me the butterflies, because I mean, against Russia was so poor, really poor. I thought Russia had actually, with the World Cup and everything, having done so well in the World Cup, I thought they would be dark horses in a way, but they were so poor. So that game doesn't really scare me that much. But the game against Belgium, the way they really took it to Belgium, we took it to Belgium for a good chunk of the game.
Yeah,
they could have had them. They really could have had them if it wasn't for Kevin De Bruyne's class and everything.
Yeah.
So that's what scares me.
I don't want to mention Russian and state-sponsored doping, but let's not mention that. But even still, like, they had a decent World Cup. They were the host nation. They probably had their Putin with their family's home numbers on speed dial, threatening them to do well. So they got to the quarterfinals. We still battered them in one of the most complete performances I've seen from Wales' side in 2016, didn't we? So thinking we beat Finland in the Nations, I think it was a win and a draw, so we got 4 points off them.
No, we beat them both times.
2 wins,
1-0, and then they got in the other game they got a man sent off the daily. It's 3-1, wasn't it?
But there we go, 2 wins. So we've been both of those sides, and Denmark, we had 2 tough games against them like a year or 2 ago. But I think we've probably got better than they have in that sort of year, 2 years since we played them as well. So they haven't really had any more big name players or anything like that come through or anything. Poulsen's still a decent striker. I'll stop cutting you off, Lewis, now. Sorry.
No, I think, for God's sake, I think what it is we've sort of figured out how we want to play now, or how we want to play, who's best suited where, because I think under the, we don't talk about Ryan Giggs on this show.
Super injunction.
Super ideas. In my honest opinion, I think we've sort of narrowed down now who's a starting 11, who's how we're going to play. This is the best suited to get the best out of these 11 players. And I think that is a big difference from when we played them last time, where we still had a few, we don't know if this guy's going to start. There's still that going on, but I think at the minute in this tournament, I think we're all going to expect, I'm expecting us to play what we did in the first 2 games. I think that'll be our first 11.
You're so spot on, Lewis, as well. I just as a tribute to Rob Page, really, in that sense, because he's clearly done a good job, hasn't he? To have But can you imagine this time, I don't know, 1-2 years ago, neither David Brooks nor Harry Wilson nor Ethan Ampadu is in our strongest 11. How the bloody hell has that happened? It's really impressive that Rob Page has managed to pull a squad together.
Yeah.
And he has really put, it doesn't look like a he who shall not be named squad anymore. You know, it looks like Robert Page's squad, and you can tell they're playing for him, and you can tell they respect him. And, you know, he's saying all the right things in the press and everything. Saying,
well, what I found interesting when I was watching an interview of his, which I did know, but it was a nice one as well. He has come up through the under-21s. So obviously they've been in that program for ages. The younger guys challenge the older guys, and the older guys sort of just may be like, no, that spot's mine. So they challenge with each other really well, but they have that so much respect for everyone around there that challenging just becomes much more of a learning curve for them. And with the respect, they all get along and play as a team, which is what I think and any sort of fan within any sport want to see. Is they want to see a team performance in a team sport. Sorry, if you're playing golf, obviously.
I hope we don't forget Robert Page's playing career because of his managerial career with Wales as well. By the way, he was a pretty
I'll be honest, I think he's got the Wales job. I think with whatever happens with the Ryan Giggs, sorry, I know we don't talk about Ryan Giggs on this show. I think whatever happens there, I think he is the next Wales manager. I think
he is the Wales manager for me. He is. He already is.
I think that's how we see it now, isn't it? He's took over. He's doing well enough. Why not give him the job?
He's put a stamp on the team, like you both said as well. Like, we're playing defensively solid football. He's got us through the group stage. We're scoring goals as well. Like, and we think of the Turkey game, we could have had 3, 4, 5, maybe creating chances.
Yes.
And like we mentioned earlier, he's the first Wales manager for a good long time to have a plan B. You remember Ryan Giggs?
Plan B that works as well.
Yeah, it was Ryan Giggs. It was a different formation. It was a different 11 nearly every bloody game. He had like 2 years at it, and we still didn't know.
Plan A, though, you couldn't really tell if you wanted to press or wanted to keep the ball and pass it about, or you wanted to keep it solid at the back and counter attack.
It was different all the time, and with Robert Page, it's the first time in a long time we've been able to say, "This is our 11. This is how we're going to play." Yeah. And if this doesn't work, we'll do this, you know, and that's brilliant. With you know, talking about, like we said, about Harry Wilson and Ethan Ampadu and Di Brooks and everything. You know, they're in out in the team and everything here and there with Giggs. Is that good for? Was that good for us? I don't. So Robert Page, I can't sing his praises enough. For me, with Wales at the stage we are now, it's a success. Anything on top of this is a bonus. We're here to do, you know, we're not here to make up the numbers, of course, but getting out of the group stages, not, you know, like dragging our heels in third as well. And I know we've got the same number of points and everything in Switzerland, but, you know, at the end of the day, we did better. To get out of the group is an enormous achievement. And, you know, despite, you know, the English press and everything saying, you know, how you know, we were lucky and, you know, how Italy dominated us and Switzerland played better than us and everything. It doesn't matter. We're second. Everything now is a success. If we go out against Denmark, touch wood, I don't think we will. I will still look back on this tournament with a smile on my face, you know.
Yes.
But that's not what I want. I want us to go further.
Yeah. To qualify the second toughest group, I don't give a shit what anyone says. It's the second toughest group in the Euros behind Group F. It's the only group where they're all in the top 30 of the FIFA World Rankings, and I think we were actually the lowest out of the 4 sides.
Yeah,
maybe.
We were, yeah.
It was 17th, was it, or a bit lower than that? Maybe 20th. I don't bloody know. Even still, like, I don't think that's something that should be sniffed at. What we've done with Robert Page coming in, you know, he's been taking over the side since like October, November, so he's had 6, maybe 8 months. I know he's worked with the lads in the youth setup, and he's been a part of Giggs. He was a part of Giggs's coaching staff. And he's worked in the under-21s, like Lewis said. So, you know, he has been around the players and he does know them, but to sort of be in charge and put your stamp on the team fully like that, to do that in such a short period of time, I thought if we can maybe get 2-3 points out of 3 group games, maybe finish third and scrape through, I'd take that. I'd take winning the game at the Euros, considering, you know, when have we really seen Wales in tournament football but 2016? to be in such a strong position as we are now, finishing second, looking as good as we did against Turkey and against Italy, just defending resolutely, and even to have such a favourable draw. Because if we win this round, who are the Netherlands playing? Is it?
It's
Hungary.
It's us or Denmark.
Who the Netherlands playing though?
Czech Republic.
We've beaten the Czech Republic
in the next
recently.
Round. The Netherlands are, I know they've got like Memphis defied Dumfries has had a really good tournament, but Wijnaldum's played really well as well.
Who they played?
Got him in the fantasy league. Exactly, and they're without Van Dijk.
Yeah. Get-atable, definitely. Although
that's the thing. The route to Germany in the semi-finals at Wembley is very much on the cards because let's be honest, England aren't getting past around the 16. I'll say that now.
Hey, well, we get England in the semis if we get that far, and they get that far.
I don't want to play England.
I would hate to play England. I would hate it.
Just one.
It'll be the one game they play well all tournament.
Yeah, I'd hate it.
There's one nation whenever we see it.
Don't say one nation.
There's just one nation.
Strong Britain.
I don't even know the lyrics to that song. I don't want to know it. I don't want to play England, no matter what it is. Friendlies, all this. Don't like it. Yes, okay. When we've got to play him, we've got to play him. I mean, it's a great occasion when we do play him. But in terms of like knowing we're playing him, that build up for it, like months of days, it's like, oh no, we're playing.
But it won't be months and days. It'll be about 4 days between the quarter and semi-final, and also we have the top English scorer at Euro 2020. In general,
like if we book a friendly,
to worry about.
That's what I'm on about.
You're right, though.
I know what you're saying.
Just whatever it comes up.
18-year-old Sam would be like us.
We've got 4 days of we're playing England. It's like it's just a different occasion on its own, isn't it? It's like England, Scotland. It's not too much. You forget
hang on. I want to hear about 18-year-old Sam crying about society, bro.
No, I was going to say 18-year-old Sam would be well up for England, Wales in the semi-finals, and now I just don't want to be around them. Now it's just pure intolerance.
I want to avoid
just listening to Simon Jordan on talks like, I don't care. I don't care. Do you want to slap him?
I think we
slap him left side of the dike.
Me, like 3 years ago, it's like pure rivalry. I want to beat England. Now I just don't want to be around these. I don't want your toxic energy in my space, but
it's just I just don't.
I just don't want it. Yeah,
I think it's the nerves of the game as well. So, like I said, with England, Scotland, you sort of forget whatever tournament it is almost, and it's like Wales, England, and it barely happens in football.
Worst game of the Euro so far, by the way, England, Scotland.
Oh,
the most boring. Anticipated sporting event of the year, apparently. Although there's
I'm sure all the continental European fans were tuning into their Setanta Sports subscriptions at 9 p.m. to watch that.
I'll tell you what, I was in Spain. Oh no, I'm in Spain with that game.
And no one knew it was on. Who
gave a flying?
You were probably in the pub moaning that Morata couldn't finish his dinner.
Mate, here, honestly, I went to watch the Spain-Slovakia game, and when Morata missed that penalty.
No, wasn't it Gerard Moreno?
No, against Slovakia the other day. They had another penalty, and Morata took it. He missed it again.
I didn't see the Slovakia. Was that the 5-0?
5-0. So, honestly, like I only saw the first half, and that was a boring half. But it was 5-0 in the end.
You missed all the fun.
I was really surprised, because you think about Spain, you think of them as like a real football nation and everything.
Yeah.
You go around. I mean, obviously, the restrictions for COVID and everything are a bit stronger here. But if you go around while Spain are playing, not much going on, to be honest. But I've managed to find, because yesterday it was while I was working, but I had a big break. So I went down to this cafe near where I work, and there was a decent amount of people with their Spanish flags on and everything like that, which is like the equivalent of the Union Jack. It's a bit grim. But the first half was the worst half, obviously, so I didn't see all the good goals going and everything. But mate, when Morata missed that penalty, people were screaming. Did you see the first goal or the Dubravka goal?
Dubravka zone, but yeah, I caught that.
Mate, he wants to be took that for match fixing. To be honest, that was bad.
Poor.
That was like genuinely like this guy is probably.
No, that's the.
I'm trying to think of a Spanish connection.
So like just pushes it in. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah, sorry, I do. Yeah,
he wants investigating. He does.
Well, FIFA and UEFA love a bit of corruption, don't they? So
Anyway,
but speaking of corruption, let's hope it's a contentious VAR decision that knocks England out against Germany, because I would love to see.
I hope it's penalties. I would
love to see the Sun have like one of those scarecrows of Joachim Low that they had of David Beckham in 2002, or what vegetable do you think they're going to use for Gareth Southgate's head when they put him on the funeral pyre?
Have you seen the numerous videos of Joachim Low smelling his bollocks?
Yeah.
This. I can't believe it.
I'll be honest, mate. It's like me having a cheeky sniff after work. I'm like, oh, I should have showered last night.
The difference, Martin, is that you're not literally at a major tournament with like the world.
With about 50. It's like, why do players dive nowadays when you're playing international football? There's about 30 cameras on you. So they're going to get one angle where there's no contact in this year,
Have you seen it, Lewis?
He looks like the sort of guy to do that, though, with the hair. And does he dresses like a creepy PE teacher who also does geography.
He's always got it tucked in, hasn't he? I reckon that's why. I reckon he's got it tucked in so he can stick his hands down his pants without anyone.
Do you reckon he wears really long shirts so he can pull his shirt under his gooch like a nappy? And then it soaks it up a bit more. And then he can smell his shirt at bedtime.
Christ, this has gone somewhere dark.
Okay, before I discussed everyone, has anyone got a score prediction for the Denmark game? And I'm going to press you all for a score because
2-1.
We need an Instagram post about it. Was that 2-1 or 3-1?
2-1. Wales.
2-1. I got slightly excited then and thought you were going for more than the 1-goal swing. But
1-0.
1-0.
Oh, I'm thinking 1-0 as well. Go on, lay out justifications in any order.
Okay. I'll go first.
Go.
1-0 Kiefer Moore, corner. I think it's going to be one of them.
I'll take it.
I think it'll be early. I think we're talking 20th minute around this area. And I reckon the rest of it will be pure torture. I reckon we're going to suffer for like 70 minutes. And it's going to be like nail biting stuff. You're going to be screaming at the telly. You're going to be throwing yourself into every tackle with the lads. That's my prediction, eh?
I'm regretting going to you first because you've just probably summarised Saturday for all of us there.
I'm gonna say we're gonna go behind first.
Wow. Come back.
I think Denmark feels any better. Stronger than us. I think they'll pinch a goal somewhere in the first half. And then second half I can see us pinching 2. Don't ask for goal scorers because right now I don't have a clue. I don't like making a goal scorer prediction. I usually get it wrong. I can't
remember anyone in the 26-man squad. Can you tell the truth?
I can.
No. You couldn't even remember Ashley Williams.
If I had to go for someone, let's just go Bale and Ramsey. As simple as that.
We'll go for that. I said 1-0 as well.
Martin Braithwaite for Denmark. There we go.
At least you're giving Denmark a goal. Me and Sam are both thinking Danny Ward will keep another clean sheet.
Yeah.
Well, I say another. He's only on one, isn't he, this tournament?
I'm not being funny, but Kasper Schmeichel is not in the best of form, is he? I mean, you look at the last game of the Premier League, he let in, again, another match-fixing doubt there with some of the goals he let in there.
Leicester seemed to go a bit off the boil towards the end of the season.
But like that last game, I can't remember who it was they were playing, but some of the goals were atrocious. And against Finland, you can't really say much, can you? But the goal was poor on his behalf. Sorry, I said it. But it was a poor goal to concede on his behalf. The defenders, whatever. But, he dropped it. Sorry.
Thank you for ruining my weekend away in Copenhagen. I probably can't go now. So I'm joking.
I think Kasper Schmeichel on a better day, on a better run of form would worry me. But I think if you have a go, I reckon he's probably at his most beatable in this tournament, Kasper Schmeichel. What worries me again is their attack more than anything. Poulsen, I think they'll come out as hard. I think they're going to play very emotionally. I think it might be a bit of a dirty game. I can see a lot of sliding happening, a lot of niggly tackles. Hopefully we won't get sent off for something that's ridiculous again, for a toe stamp basically. But yeah, I stick by it 1-0. I think we'll go up early and it'll get nasty. I think we'll weather the storm, and I think we'll keep a clean sheet. Yeah, I think Danny Ward he'll be more hyped up for this game than any of the others because it's his job, isn't it, to outdo Kasper Schmeichel. That's what he works at week in, week out. So he'll be well up for it.
He's going up against his line manager, isn't he? So, like you said, I think it'll be a very tight game. But I I think we'll keep it sort of 0-0 for a lot longer, or they'll keep it, I should say, for a lot longer, because I've backed us to get the win. Bale hasn't scored in 13 games for Wales now. You know, he's extended his drought a bit. It's games like this where it's sort of written for him to do something, you know, bend the free kick in from 30 yards or cop up in the 70th minute with a bloody Champions League style bicycle kick from a corner or something, you know. I'm going to go 1-0. I'm going to go Bale score in the second half, and I'm going to go for us putting the Dutch away when we've just been in the Netherlands, and we'll put them away in Wembley.
Okay,
that's if they get past the Czech Republic, though. So that all remains to be seen, doesn't it? Okay, we did mention this at the start of the show, but a little bit earlier this week, unfortunately, David R. Edwards, the frontman, lead singer, songwriter, lyricist, could even call him a poet and a sort of a social commentator to a point, the frontman as well at Datblygu, passed away following a battle with ill health. I think he was aged about 56 years old as well. You know, it's very sad news surrounding a real pioneer of the Welsh language music scene in its earlier days. I think Sam put it quite well in the group chat the day it happened. It's like the equivalent of losing a Welsh David Bowie or Bob Dylan, that sort of thing. Funnily enough, me and Sam, I think I first heard Datblygu's music maybe 4 or 5 years ago when we were living together. One of the first things, as I mentioned before, just struck me about their music was like the variety of topics, including Dave Datblygu's lyrics. I was reading, going to be nice to the Guardian this time. I was reading a piece that Alice James wrote about David in the Guardian the other day. Even he said you'd go from a song about sort of students on a gap year to Fidel Castro, then a song about the dullness of unemployment to a song about dead babies that we ended up covering in a band.
God.
Yeah. I think I've got a video of that knocking about somewhere. I'll try and dig it out. I think it's on iCloud somewhere. But yeah, musically, personally, I was a big fan of Datblygu too. They're not a band I extensively listened to a load or got into quite young, but sort of a big alternative rock fan me. So I quite enjoyed the sort of minimalistic post-punk type instrumentation, really cool use of effects and synthesizers. And they were a big inspiration to a lot of those Welsh bands like Super Furry Animals, Gorky's Gothic Monkey as well, that sort of pushed on with the Cool Cymru movement and took on after Datblygu were quite big. Well, I say quite big, they were massive with John Peel, weren't they? He always used to have them on his Radio 1 sessions in the evening. That sort of really helped there. Well, you got anything to say about that, Sam? I'm not feeling about Datblygu?
I'm not gonna lie, I would genuinely say that Datblygu are probably the most important band for me as an adult, you know. Just it's difficult to put into words the importance they've had for me as a Welsh learner overall, you know, growing up in a Welsh speaking family that don't speak Welsh anymore and everything. It was enormous for me, Datblygu's music as an adult, learning Welsh, living outside of Wales, trying to sort of find my feet as a Welshman, living outside of Wales without, you know, really understand what it meant and everything, you know, battling with the parts I liked and I didn't like of Welsh identity. I think the thing we'll miss most about Dave Datblygu is his honesty. I think he had a way of, he managed to find himself in this juxtaposition, which he managed so wonderfully, you know, of refusing to sing in English, outright refusing to translate his lyrics or to print them in English in any way, shape or form. But at the end of the day, all of his music was, well, a big chunk of his music was anti-Welsh in a lot of ways, you know.
I was just going to say he was probably one of the first Welsh-speaking musicians, especially at that time, to actually criticise aspects of Welsh culture because it was sort of seen as pristine by. Don't want to slag David Dylan off, but you never hear him writing a bad song about Wales, do you? You know.
Well, it's this, you know. He brought Welsh culture or Welsh language to people who had been ostracized by it before, you know, in a lot of ways.
He brought an introspective view towards it as well, I'd say.
Definitely. A self-critical voice that had been lacking in Welsh culture for a long time, where those involved in Eisteddfodau and stuff like this, you know, this idea of it's pure and it's beautiful and everything. Well, it's not actually. There's a lot of flaws in Wales, and only by addressing them, and this is something that Datblygu recognize, only by addressing these flaws will we ever, you know, overcome them and everything. And, you know, like you said, just the extravagance of him, you know, everything about Datblygu's music was ugly, and its presentation was ugly. The production value was ugly. The song lyrics were ugly, in a way that was so gorgeous, you know, and super impressive. And for me, he will like you said before, he is like of the same cultural significance to global culture as your Bob Dylan, as your David Bowie, as your Lou Reed, the people like this. He was the first person that I know of anyway to really, you know, to address, to bring Welsh culture into the 21st century and to give it this life outside of folk or soft rock, or anything, to give it an ugly face that was willing to stand up to itself and everything. He managed to do everything he did. And as well, I feel like by saying what I've just said and everything, I'm missing out Pat as well. Pat Morgan, she must be devastated. It must be really, really hard for her and everything. And my heart goes out to Pat. And I feel like as well, Dave would feel like it was, you know, everybody focusing on him right now is an injustice to her, because she is, you know, irreplaceable for Datblygu as well. She's really, really important. So the both of them, the two of them, are responsible for everything that happened, not just Dave. And it's important that we don't omit Patricia or Pat from this, you know. Again, you know, Dave and Pat together, you know, you've got a female face in this really important movement in Welsh music. And not just that, you know, the way it moved over the borders, I think they played as many gigs in England as they did in Wales, you know. And I will never, I don't think, maybe, I think definitely not in Wales, but maybe not in the world, we'll ever see someone as authentic as Dave Datblygu. Someone who is so authentic that he refuses to sing in any language other than his own, to slag off his own language. And so unafraid, so brave, you know. I'm gutted. I never got to meet the man. It was always on my bucket list. I've always wanted to meet him. I'm a Datblygu obsessionist. I am obsessed, you know. It is my favorite band, you know. And like you said, going back to playing in Terminal Voyers and Leeds and everything, we'd be in Yorkshire singing Saith Arch Bach, which translates to Seven Little Coffins, singing about a song about cot death and everything, you know.
Teaching Johnny the words for it as well.
Yeah, teaching some East Anglians a bit of Welsh to sing backing vocals for it and everything. Listen, he could have been one of the most important people, I think, in music globally, but he decided against it. He decided to stay authentic, not sell out, sing in his own language, and I think he'll forever be an inspiration to that. It's immeasurable. I don't think you can talk to another band that sings in Welsh who can't tell you the first few lines of Canny Gymru and stuff like that. The songs are iconic, and I really do encourage anybody that's listening to this that doesn't speak Welsh, listen to the music, because the music's brilliant, and, you know, try and work out the lyrics if you can. You won't find them translated in many places, but if you've got a good ear, or if you're just interested enough, you'll find them, or you can translate them yourself. You can put it into Google Translate, you can put it into Cysyllt or Cysgwad or anything like this, you know. The lyrics are unbelievable. And you listen to a song called Canny Gymru, which is mimicking basically what is Welsh Eurovision Canny Gymru. And he's saying how, like, too much anti-Britishness sounds like Sieg Heil, you know? And he's not pro-Britain. He's just smart enough to look at both sides and go, you're both as bad as each other, shut up, you know? And me growing up as well, you know, being very pro-independence as I am, as I think we all are, and, you know, sort of learning how to grow into this political identity and everything, it's really important, I think, for Dave Datblygu to have been a part of that for us, because, you know, he puts you back on the ground and say, hold on a minute, think about this logically, not emotionally. He was a voice of logic in the real emotional world, which is Welsh identity and Welsh politics and the fight for independence and everything. So it's a massive loss. And for those that are listening, that are interested in Datblygu, don't know what to get into, well, 3 albums they released, each as good as the other. Oh yeah, I think was the first one, then Pissed, and then then Libertino, and then Pissed. For me, if you're after an album, Libertino is the one. You've got unbelievable songs like Dim Dev Dim Eva, which translates is without property there is no law. So you get into really, philosophical, sociological stuff. And then if you go to oh yeah, you've got songs like which translates as eggs. You've got songs like David Ewan and a Cloud, which is David Ewan in the rain, and it goes, it's like that. And it's been emotional for me, to be honest. I'm really gutted that he's gone, and so young as well. But he has been unwell for a long time. He's had his problems. There was a documentary that came out. I'm not sure, it might have been on Vice actually, following him walking around Carmarthen, talking about his life, talking about Carmarthen and everything it is. And he doesn't look well, he doesn't sound well, and for me,
smoking the rollies doesn't help either,
does it? Yeah, but for me, watching it sort of fed into the sort of mystique and aura of him.
Yeah.
But now, now I just feel sad, and but he's brilliant. Lewis, for example, you're not a Datblygu. You've never really listened to Datblygu, have you?
No, I've never really listened, to be honest.
But how,
this is certain sounds interesting. I always like it when people actually sort of say what they want in their music, and it doesn't really matter. There's no well, so you can call it politics, but
it is politics. It's pure politics.
It's a good lot of politics, but he was authentic and he meant what he said. So
that's what you're saying. Things the way they want to say it, and say, "This is my opinion. This is me." Done.
Yeah.
They don't care.
I think maybe with what Sam said.
I like the fact that it's quite this is me sort of thing. This is what I believe in, and that is that. That no one can slag you off of saying what you believe in. Simple as that.
What the best thing about Datblygu though is, and Dave himself, is that Welsh speakers, Welsh independent supporters, and everything. We tend to vote for Plaid Cymru. We tend to follow Plaid Cymru and everything else. And for some of us, that can mean that we sort of only see light shining out their arse in Plaid Cymru and everything. But Dave probably voted for. I have no idea. But Dave probably, if you align his political beliefs and everything, he'd line up with more with Plaid Cymru. But it doesn't stop him slagging him off. He said what he wanted. He saw it as he saw it. He was very brave and he was very honest. And no matter no matter who it offended or anything, he'd say it. And I don't see that no matter who he offended is some sort of gammon, like, he'd say if you were this or that, he'd tell you. No, when it comes to politics and everything, because in Wales we're too insular and we're too focused on the Welsh question. Well, we need to be looking as to be a member of the world, and that doesn't necessarily mean being part of Britain at all, because Britain currently, or England, is not looking to be part of the world. I think Wales has overtaken England in that sense, and probably for a lot of Welsh speakers, a lot of that is probably comes down to Dave Edwards' door.
So, I think you've summarised it all very well there. It's just the only thing I'd say, maybe if he had got to the size of sort of Bob Dylan, David Bowie, the people who were saying he sort of resembled to in his message. Don't know. Maybe with all the, I'm not saying he'd have sold out or anything. He's not that type of person at all, from what I've seen. But so, like, if he wasn't a major label or anything like that, maybe his music wouldn't have been as sort of undoctored as it was. And I think that's what made it what it was. It's just the grittiness of life at that time, and so like they used to drum machines, twangy guitars with sort of what you'd consider nowadays cheap effects run through them, the really sort of basic source sounding synthesizers, but they just work so well with that music.
Yeah. And the latest album when it came out this year,
Yeah, I was going to say that was nominated for a Welsh Music Prize as well this year, wasn't it?
Hold on,
that's the one.
Hold on, I'm going to get it to advertise it.
And get the book as well. He's got a book excerpt to read from us, so I'll be back in a minute. We'll just keep the conversation going for a little bit while he's not here. Have you played your guitar recently, Lewis?
I haven't got it on me.
No. You got it on you if you left Emperor starting?
Yeah, it's Emperor starting.
Fair enough.
I did this bit out.
Here we go, he's back.
There you are. Look. it's an absolutely brilliant album, Cwm Gwagla. And there's some brilliant songs. The singles are outstanding. A Pyrdedd Noeth, which translates as the pure, like the nakedness, the naked pureness, I guess. And what's the other one that came out? Pyrdedd Noeth and Cariad Ceredigion is really good. And I don't know, basically, buy it because there was two members of Datblygu. There was Pat. We can't forget Pat and everything. She probably needs all the support she can get because she's lost, you know, a musical soulmate in many ways. Yeah. Buy the album, rough trade.
Yeah, man. And you've got the book as well, haven't you? You've still got that next to you.
Aye.
So make sure you have a look for that as well.
Atgofion
David R. Edwards. Fantastic name, fantastic title.
It's a brilliant book, and it's written
translate that into English, but
Atgofion Henwank is like
no.
Okay.
I don't know. You can probably work it out from the Welsh. To be fair,
yeah, do it yourself. It's a brilliant book as well. You can support a Lolvide as well, which is the Welsh language sort of publishing house basically, and it's a brilliant book. It's written in a kind of Welsh that you'll never see from the BBC or Espetorec or anything, or the Welsh government. You know, that sort of sarcasm written in that language, that kind of, you know, pure grit and pure wit is outstanding. And I'd encourage anybody, you know, if you're only learning about Datblygu now, then it's a perfect time. My recommendation for anybody listening is listen to the compilation of appearances from the John Peel show. It's brilliant, and it's all live as well. And you can really, I think it's the best sort of portrait of what Datblygu were and are and will be, and that, you know, it's probably the best production they ever had also, so that helps. But yeah, it's outstanding. It's great stuff. And if you're a Welsh speaker and you don't know who Datblygu are, then you've got a lot of homework to do. If you're a non-Welsh speaker and you're interested in learning Welsh, it is the best motivation you could find, is Datblygu, without a doubt.
I was going to say, even if you're not a Welsh speaker, fantastic music either way. Sort of, especially if you're into your alternate rocky, post-punky, even minimalistic type stuff. Sort of,
they've been compared.
Maybe draw comparisons with like the Young Marble Giants, Joy Division.
Yeah, The Fall they're often compared to.
Maybe even a bit echoing the Bunnyman and the guitar tone, you know. And they have a drum machine, so like that's different, isn't it? But
aye, it's just a massive shame. And then as well with Glyn from Al Symudiad, who are another band from the Aberteifi area. It's another really, really sad one. Al Symudiad, a really important group from I don't know, would you class Cardigan as South Wales?
Probably.
It's West Wales, isn't it? South West Wales.
South from compared to where we were from.
I've never been, but Al Symudiad are a really, really important group as well, and really worth listening to. And when it comes to music recommendations, what have you guys been listening to this week?
Not a lot, to be honest with you, mate. That's,
we're saying this. There's that one. There's a one I picked up on that. Yours truly, High Hopes. I quite enjoy it. It's something different to what I listen to, but yeah, that's only about the new song I've listened to recently.
There's talking about Welsh language music. There's a great new album coming out. Martin, you'd love it as well, by a band called Piss Melyn, which I'm sure you can translate.
Yellow piss.
Oh, peas actually, but
yellow peas. Oh, peace.
Piss Melyn, yeah, Piss Melyn. The album is called Bywyd Llonydd, which is like Peaceful Life. It's a brilliant album, really, really cool, super chill, lounge music. You know, it's bordering on lounge music. It's lovely. It's really, really good. So I'd recommend that. Also, I don't know about you guys. I've been smashing the Smiths recently. Don't know why.
Yeah, I've been listened to The Queen Is Dead a few times.
For me,
the album, sorry, not just the song on a loop.
I've been listening to Strange Ways a lot recently. You know, stop me if you heard this one before. I don't know about you, but I grew up thinking that was like a what's his name? What's the name of the DJ? I don't know. Some Mark Ronson. I grew up thinking it was a Mark Ronson song, and I remember being about like 16 and putting it on, listening to the Smiths, and what? The Smiths are covering Mark Ronson, and the irony and the sadness isn't lost on me in that sense, you know. But Yeah, that's what I mean. I've been listening to Smiths and that. I have, as well as Piss Mellon's new album, and today and yesterday a lot of Datblygu, to be honest. Also, but Lewis, what else? What else are you listening to these days, Way?
Oh God, still the usual with me. It's not much change. I haven't looked too much in the music. But on that note, I've got into Pale Waves. Don't know if you've heard of them.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm quite keen on them at the minute.
They're one of those bands where their image doesn't. I've not
the image doesn't match the music, which makes it
at all. Yeah, which is interesting to me.
I quite like this. But yeah, I think they're really good. I quite enjoy them.
I remember we had a poster up in our kitchen in Leeds.
Because Johnny's band played with them in Norwich, didn't
Is that what it is? Is it Johnny's band supported him?
I didn't know. Detective supported him.
I didn't know if Johnny just liked them or not. But yeah.
One of the two.
I remember seeing them. Oh, cool! This would be like the gothy sound. Put it on. It wasn't.
It's completely shocks you, doesn't it? It shocks you.
Yeah.
It was the same with that Black Honey band. I thought they were going to be proper. I don't know, proper gothy alt rock, and they weren't quite why? But that's the thing. You can't really judge a band on their looks, can you? You have to judge them on the music.
Yeah, of course. Normal.
Fall victim to that sometimes.
Aye. But yeah,
really
that's interesting. I didn't peg you for the Pale Waves, man.
No, it's only recent. They've sort of it's the song called "Easy" by him.
Okay.
I heard that on the radio, and then
it's
a really nice song. And then I was listening to just watch the video, and then I saw like the image, and I was like, "Eh?" Like,
yeah.
What? I scratched my head, and then I was like, you know what? I like this one. Let's listen to another. And I was sort of like, okay, these are really good to listen to. So yeah, I'm sort of on them at the minute.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to add it. Well, we've been talking about making a playlist, haven't we, of all these music recommendations?
Yeah, can do that.
So we'll have to do that. We'll add it to that.
We'll sort that out this week. And
it's going to be bloody weird,
socials and that. So
it's going to be weird, isn't it? It's going to be what have we recommended so far? Griffiths, Wolf Alice, Japanese Breakfast, Datblygu, Pale Waves, High Hopes.
It's quite a good variety. The Smiths.
Well, we've got a lot for the listeners. Let's just say.
Well, what we can do, we'll start it with all of those first, and then if we like add one each, or like two of us add one each every week or something. Build it from there.
It's a shout.
A nice little.
Just remove one or something. I don't know.
No, it's a playlist. Keep adding to it. Keep adding to it. It'll stay there. It's on Spotify. It'll be fine. Any final thoughts before we wrap that up today?
Well,
we're doing. I hope everyone enjoys the game on Saturday. Let's hope we get a lovely win. And if not,
I hope you're right.
Heads high and move on.
Strong Wales, great nation. Is what I say. Strong Wales, great nation.
I'm sure blinded Jack Grealish will be happy there, mate.
Shut the front door.
He couldn't resist.
I feel like just kicking you from the Zoom meeting for calling out, to be honest.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. You haven't
mentioned any Peaky Blinders again.
You haven't chucked Danny James at me today, so that's all right.
Just about
Danny James.
See,
this is mate Aaron.
His mate Aaron. My mate Az.
My mate Aaron. He lives in Carfilly Castle and he's fun.
My final thought today is that Saturday is going to be a great test for us. I think it'll be a real marker to see where we are as a group and everything. Come whatever may, I'm so proud of the boys. I'm so happy with everything that's happened. I don't want it to end. You know, please don't take me home. I just. I'm fucking not. I'm in Spain, mate. Yeah, I'm just. I reckon we're gonna have a good time on Saturday. I reckon. If we do, right, lads, where are you watching the game on Saturday?
And my girlfriend's probably
at home. So when it
finishes,
I reckon we should have let's just have a 10-minute chat as a teaser for the next episode or something straight after the game. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm on my own watching the Wales games. So when it finishes, I just want to talk to people.
That's why I rang you after the Italy game, because I needed to unload, so I wasn't talking to Ella and a mate about the football for like the hour while we were eating.
If we do just after the game, if we have a minute to, collect our thoughts, and then just 10 minutes, just chat, basically.
If I've got time, I can.
enough time to have like a fag and a half, that kind of time, you know.
Yeah, we could just do a short reaction thing. I think you've scheduled our next content there, Sam. Very well done. I like that. Fine. We'll do a little reaction to the Denmark game, no matter how it goes. But yeah, I think we've got to be confident in ourselves, looking at how we've done so far. Look at how they've done. I know they've had sort of extreme circumstances in the first game. They played well against Belgium. De Bruyne changed the game, but they played for their lives against the Russians. They put a pretty flawless display on against a very weak and sort of full of mistakes side. So we're tough to beat, and we've got Bale and Ramsey available. Kiefer Moore will be starting, hopefully. So nothing to worry about, gentlemen. I'm sure we'll be. Exactly. We've only conceded from 2 set pieces. So
set pieces don't count.
We've got everything we need in this game. It's going to be tight, but we're going to nick it. So, and we'll be back same time next week on Sportinarium and YouTube and everywhere else. And cheers for listening, guys. Have a good week. Come on Cymru on Saturday, and we'll bend your ears after the game on Saturday, I guess, as well. Then, won't we? So,
dead on line, Cymru. Dead on line.